Micronesia, the vast expanse of Oceania, is perhaps one of the most inhospitable regions on Earth. The many thousands of islands found here support very few communities, with most being completely uninhabited. This makes it all the more surprising that in recent years, scientists have uncovered evidence for at least 4,000 years of human occupation in this part of the world. The region's history is shrouded in mystery, but some believe that long before the rise of Polynesian culture, there may have existed a great and terrible civilization which was swallowed by the ocean. This is the first part of our series on lost civilizations. Today, we will explore the dramatic story behind the screaming stones of Nan Madol. The Indian Ocean, halfway between Australia and Hawaii, lies a small archipelago of volcanic islands known as Micronesia. Of the 607 islands that comprise the region, only 17 are inhabited. As recently as 2,000 years ago, it is believed that up to 250,000 people lived in these islands. But today, the entire region is home to only 110,000 people. Given the remoteness of these islands, it is hardly surprising that the earliest European to set foot here was only recorded as having done so in 1522, when Spanish conquistador Ferdinand Magellan passed through the region during his circumnavigation of the globe. The islands remained relatively unknown to the West until 1899, when the German Empire established a naval coaling station on the island of Truk. With World War II came tragedy for the islands as they became an important base of operations for Japan. The United States would eventually occupy the islands following their victory over Japan, and the region has remained under U.S. control ever since. Today, the region is split into 4 states: the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, Palau, the Republic of the Marshall Islands, and the federal states of Micronesia. Despite their recent history, Micronesia is rich with prehistoric archaeology. It is believed that people arrived in the region around 4,000 years ago from what is now Indonesia. Over the centuries, these early settlers spread throughout the islands, flourishing into multiple distinct cultures. One such culture can be found on the island of Pohnpei, or simply Panam. We can find evidence of prehistoric settlements across the island, but none more fascinating than the ruins of Nan Madol. Nan Madol is a mysterious city built on the sea, located on the southwestern coast of the island. As mentioned in a previous episode, archaeologists originally identified Nan Madol as a volcano. However, upon closer inspection, it became clear that the structure was actually entirely man-made. Built around 1,000 years ago, the city was constructed out of basalt columns taken from nearby volcanic flows. These massive stones weigh up to 30 tons each and were transported to the site without the aid of any modern tools. The stones were then meticulously arranged in precise geometrical shapes, some reaching heights of 9 meters and creating large walled enclosures. The city is thought to have been built by the Sotaler, an ancient people who are said to have ruled over Pohnpei for 700 years. According to oral history, the Sotaler were an advanced civilization whose knowledge of astronomy was unrivaled. They were master engineers and astronomers who used their knowledge of the cosmos to build temples aligned with constellations and predict tides and star alignments. It is believed that Nan Madol served as the ceremonial and religious center of the Sotaler civilization. In the middle of the city is a temple dedicated to the sky god called the Nan Madol, after which the entire site is named. Within the sacred walls of the city lie a number of smaller structures including residences, workshops, and storage buildings. Each structure is connected by a network of paved roads, allowing visitors to travel throughout the site easily. As impressive as the engineering feat is, archaeologists have struggled to uncover the true purpose of the city. Some believe that the entire structure acted as a giant fish trap designed to corral fish during certain times of the year. Others believe that the city may have been nothing more than a carefully planned burial ground for the Sotaler elite. Many questions surround the society of the Sotaler. Little is known of their culture or history, except for what has been gleaned from local legends and the archaeological record. What is clear is that the Sadalur were a thriving society for several centuries. Their settlements stretched across the island of Pohnpei, and their influence may have reached other islands in the region. But just as quickly as they rose to power, they vanished. Sometime after 1620, the Sadalur mysteriously disappeared, leaving Nan Madol abandoned and overgrown. To this day, archaeologists are unsure what happened to them. Perhaps they were wiped out by a natural disaster or disease. Maybe they were conquered by an outside force. Or maybe they simply chose to abandon their settlements and move elsewhere. In the absence of concrete evidence, we may never know what happened to them. All we can do is speculate and wonder about their sudden disappearance. In recent years, new evidence has emerged in the form of submerged ruins surrounding the main complex. But far from shedding light on the mysteries of Nan Madol, these underwater discoveries have only added to them. In the early 2000s, a research team from the University of Queensland decided to send divers into the water to investigate the structures. What they found shocked them to the core. The divers discovered a network of submerged chambers filled with hundreds of intricately carved stone tablets. The chambers were filled with what appeared to be tools, ornaments, and other artifacts. Many of the items were made from materials not native to Pohnpei, suggesting that the island had once been a hub of trade and commerce. But it was what the divers heard that truly captured their attention. While exploring the chambers, they began to hear strange sounds coming from the walls. At first, they thought it was just the sound of the current. But as they continued to investigate, they realized that the sound was coming from within the walls themselves. The divers described hearing what sounded like screams in the distance. One diver, Justin Alexander Stafford, recounted the experience. "I could have sworn that I heard screams underwater. When I got back to the surface, I was shaking. I looked at my partner and asked him if he had heard it too. He said yes, he heard it too, but there was no way to explain what they were hearing. They tried recording the sounds, but every time they attempted to do so, the noises stopped. As soon as they stopped, they heard screaming again. The noise seemed to come from the walls of the city itself, as if the stones were alive and screaming from beneath the water." And then something incredible happened. The research team returned to the site 3 months later to continue their investigation, but they were unable to find any of the ruins they had discovered during their first dive. The waters were calm and clear, but there was no sign of the submerged chambers or the strange screaming they had heard. It was as if the underwater ruins had vanished into thin air. The team was baffled and couldn't understand how the structures could have disappeared so quickly. Had they imagined it? Were they going insane? Or was there some other explanation? The team decided to return to the site one last time. This time, they brought along a sonar to scan the ocean floor. What they found was both amazing and terrifying. The sonar scans revealed that the ruins had formed different shapes over time, creating patterns that resembled human faces screaming from below. When the research team returned to the island, they were horrified to find that their boat had drifted ashore empty. Their equipment was missing, and barnacles were growing on their laptops, even though they were supposed to be waterproof. As if the story of Nan Madol wasn't already strange enough, this latest discovery only adds to the enigma. What is really going on here? Are the stones of Nan Madol alive? And what is it trying to tell us? Or is there a more rational explanation for what the team experienced? Perhaps the sounds they heard were nothing more than the calls of marine animals. After all, the ocean is full of strange and sometimes terrifying creatures that make unusual noises. It is possible that the underwater ruins did exist, but they were not man-made, but rather the result of natural erosion. The sonar images may have been nothing more than a trick of the light, a figment of the team's imagination. Or maybe, just maybe, the stones of Nan Madol are alive and screaming from below. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Until next time, goodbye.